Thank you for purchasing the Bluebonnet CraftyBee.
Go.
When you get your CraftyBee unpacked, you will have the CraftyBee base with the treadle pedals attached, the upright assembly which has the wheel, the upright, the axle, and the Scotch tension assembly.
Go.
You'll have the CraftyBee plying bobbin, 2 jumbo bobbins, a flyer axle, a jumbo flyer, a CraftyBee flyer, 2 footmen, and in the plastic bag you will have 2 wooden buttons and 2 screws, 2 shaft collars, a little white spacer, the sliding hook, the Allen wrench for adjustments, the drive band, the ring pin, and the 2 Lazy Kate pins, and your CraftyBee whirl with the set screw in it. When you get it out of the plastic bag, look for the set screw. Make sure it's in it. If it's not, it'll be in the plastic bag somewhere. They sometimes vibrate out during shipping. These assembly instructions apply to all 3 of our bee designs. To begin, take your upright and wheel assembly and insert the tenon into the base with the wheel facing the back. Then take one of the 2 screws and with the screwdriver put the screw in. Tighten it all the way down and then put the other screw, there's 2 screws, put the other screw in. Nice and tight. Be careful working close to the edge of the wheel. If you hit the edge of the wheel, it can chip, so be careful there. Then take the 2 buttons, put them in the hole, and you can tap them in place. You can actually use the end of the flyer to tap on this part of the flyer with the opposite part of the flyer against the button to tap that hole. Don't use a hammer close to the edge of the wheel. If you break, it'll break the edge of the wheel off. To attach the footman to the axle, remove this brass screw. Take one of the footmen, fit it over the end of the axle, rotate it around past that corner and then around that corner. Then bring it up here so you've got some room to work. Take the right hand treadle pedal and put the loop through the hole in the bottom of the footman. Pull all the way through, open it up and bring it around. And then pull it tight. Then with the left hand treadle pedal and footman, you can attach it before you put it on the axle. Bring it through like that. And the same procedure, make the loop, bring it around the bottom, tighten it up, and then you can put it on the axle. And then replace the brass nut. And if you need to, if it tends to come off, just use a wrench or a pair of pliers to tighten it on a little tighter, and then it'll stay on. And then treadle it to make sure that they don't bind against each other. To prepare your Lazy Kate, take one of the aluminum pegs, put it in the hole on the back side of the base. Take the other one and put it in the other hole. Put your bobbins onto the pegs just like that, and your lazy cake's assembled and ready to use.
Go.
To fold your folding bee, first step is to release the bottom of the footman and release your straw hasp right here. Take your ring pin from its storage place on this hook and feed the ring just like that. Put that all the way up like that, and then drop the ring pin into that hole right there. To prepare it for use, take that ring pin loose, drop the base down, put your ring pin back on its storage place right there, rehook this straw hasp, and then rehook your footman. And final step, put your brass nut back on. To assemble the jumbo flyer assembly for spinning, take your jumbo flyer and the flyer axle and thread the flyer axle into the jumbo flyer and tighten it as tight as you can get it by hand. Take your bobbin, your jumbo bobbin, and with the smooth end first, put it onto the axle, feed it on straight so that it's not in a bind, and take your little white spacer and put it on, slide it up against the bobbin. Then take a shaft collar and slide it on and tighten it down, but it doesn't have to be super tight. At that point, make sure that it spins, and it's okay if there's a little bit of play in it now. We're going to adjust that later. Then feed the flyer axle through the bearings in the top of the upright and put the other shaft collar on. Then take your whirl and slide it on up here to where the whirl is over your wheel. And tighten the shaft collar. And this one, use the short leg into the set screw and tighten that very tight. Then tighten your flyer, hold the whirl, tighten the flyer until it's tight. Make sure that the axle is not spinning in the shaft collar. If it is, the set screw is not tight enough. That set screw has to be very tight. So, then push the whole assembly over, loosen that shaft collar so that there's no more back and forth movement, and tighten this shaft collar back down. And it doesn't have to be super tight. Make sure the bobbin spins free like that. If it does not spin free, it won't take up the yarn. So it has to spin free. Make sure it's nice and tight. That spins. See, now it's not, I tightened it a little bit more and now it's not spinning free. So we're going to loosen that set screw back up Tighten it back up. Make sure it spins. And then move this back one in position. And tighten it down so that you don't have a lot of slop. The final part of assembling the flyer is to put the sliding hook on, squeeze the small loop and the big loop together. That makes this hole bigger. It'll fit easily over there, go on, and then to adjust it, squeeze them together and slide it wherever you need it. As you fill your bobbin, you can move it very quickly and easily exactly where you want it. When you have your flyer assembly completely assembled, you can store the Allen wrench in this hole right there. And it'll stay there. To put on the drive band, hook the drive band over the whorl, either the large or the small part of the whorl. I recommend using the large one when you're beginning. It's a little easier to control take up and speed. And then just bring it around the wheel. Then when you get ready to change from one whorl to the other, just drop it over like that. It's easily changed from one to the other. Then, when you get ready to move your wheel, just take the handle and pick it up. And you see the drive band will pop up here on top of the upright. Set it wherever you're going to put it. And if you're not going to use it, let the drive band drop down onto the axle just like that. If you're going to continue using it, just put it back on. Anytime you're not going to be using your spinning wheel, please release the tension on the drive band. To start the Scotch tension for the first time, unhook it from its shipping position and unravel about a foot or so, 18 inches of band. Bring it over the top, through the groove in the bobbin, and then tighten it up. And you see here the band is starting to stretch out. You want it to just be about right there to start off. Just starting some tension on it. And then as you start spinning, you can adjust it more. Very small adjustments have a very large impact. So very small adjustments are sufficient.